Good morning, everyone. Kansas Sports HQ here. Dave Bush, Sean Cutler, Sheldon Howell. We are going to continue our conversation about Wichita Parisi with episode 22. We're going to talk about the move to the new facility. It's been 3 years, all the things that have been happening. So let's start this morning off right. How was everybody's night last night? Cowboys won big. We won our fantasy league. So where are we at today, guys? How are we doing?
Christian Watson's first down celebration. He goes like this.
He does. He's on.
I don't really know what it means. I just have watched him do it a bunch of times.
The running back for Iowa the other day.
Everybody else says this.
The running back for Iowa the other day went like this. And just.
Oh wow!
Wait, is that not
like
a flag?
Like a shovel?
Maybe. Well, and then the USC wide receiver scored a touchdown. He's going up to his guy like this. So I'm like,
these guys.
Wait, they can do that in college?
I think they could do it. I don't think it's penalized.
I didn't think they could do that
because our running back straight up,
like
he's
like he's like barging through the door kind of guy.
FBI.
What do they call that?
Well, maybe his context was he was
busting it down?
busting a drug beat or something.
I don't know. I don't know.
He's kicking the door down and said FBI.
Well, so how's the morning?
I just want to know why he does. Like he goes down and then he flips it and then he
Spider-Man.
You're really thinking he's about to pull one?
No,
yeah,
these three.
Oh,
I'm gonna tweet his dad because his dad's on X, and he just every game
get him on the pod,
just blah blah blah. Oh man,
constantly talking.
Pull your owner stuff and see if you can get a Packer on the phone. You never know.
I might.
Malik was on the pod.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, if he was on
Why
our pod,
aren't you the starter yet?
Yeah, if he was on our
electric.
pod, I mean, we might go viral.
That would be electric.
Hey, how many jersey sales do you have? 2? Well, guess who those 2 are?
Technically, ours were not
Official
sales, so
they look good though.
yeah,
They
they're
look the
nice.
same.
Say what?
Nice.
They look the same.
Yeah.
No, they like exactly the same.
They probably are.
Yeah.
They're probably from the same place. Just one stitch is different. Who knows? The quality control. You never know. But anyway, so the Cowboys won last night, and yeah, cool. Not a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, nobody cares.
You can see my chair back here, San Francisco.
I watched
the Raiders
0
lost.
minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Raiders are bad.
So let's go ahead and take a deep dive into Wichita Parisi and the new facility. So October would have been our 3rd year here, and Sheldon, let's kind of talk about the thought process and needing to find a bigger space and what the dream was, and then how it became the reality.
Okay. Well, the need was just out of, basic necessity in the beginning, but we were in the old facility for 6 years, and then we were in the old facility for 3-ish years, I think, something like that. So right around that time anyway. Old facility, we were obviously just leasing from another company, and so through that whole process I can't even begin to describe the layers of just how screwed up that whole situation was, and part of that's just my own fault because I was just in the mix of trying to run the business, and I wasn't necessarily thinking that people would be, 1, taking advantage of people, but then 2, like
Lying about it.
Well, yeah, just have like all these real shady systems kind of in place to where like if you don't have like in-depth knowledge of it and you're not paying attention to every little detail, you just wouldn't really catch certain things. And I didn't really catch kind of what some of the things were going on until like there was these massive big jumps, right? Like on a year or annual basis. Like then I started kind of paying a little more attention, and I was like, wait a minute here.
This doesn't add up.
This
Dave,
math
look
ain't.
at this stuff.
This
What's
math
this?
is not mathin'. I was like, we got to dive into this a little bit and try to figure things out. And So then once we kind of caught them in that mix, it was just it just kind of turned into like okay, like this isn't going to be a good fit moving forward. And I'll say, like, in the beginning of that old facility over there, or in the end of that old facility over there, like, it wasn't my intention to necessarily have to move. Like, we really liked what was going on over there, but it was a massive blessing in disguise that all of the things happened the way that they did, and we were able to find one, the facility where we are, and then just all of the pieces that fell into place to make all of that a reality. So very blessed in that regard and very thankful and have a lot of gratitude towards that. But
But it was a mess.
it was wild and just going back and forth with those guys and them trying to act like I didn't know what I was talking about.
If
And
it
then,
became became really pressured. It felt like a pressured sales decision and then
yeah,
it just.
there's
Well,
a
I
little
don't
bit
think
of that, but a little bit of them just thinking that I wasn't serious,
I
and
don't
they
think Eddie's ever moved in.
yeah, the threats that we were getting of that stuff, like, I mean, it was just they were still trying to somewhat take advantage of the way that we, operated, one, but then two, the way that I, like, didn't pay attention to certain things, and so then they thought that they could just, do whatever. So it was what it was, and, so then that all just was a mess at the end of the day. But looking into the new facility, it's really just been an opportunity at the end of the day. That's the biggest thing is over here. It's provided us a bigger scale of things because we have more space, and with more space, obviously comes more service, more work as well too, as we all know. But it's also what's allowing us to be able to provide, from a business standpoint for all of our employees. It allows us to create more of structure for you guys, and it's allowing us to actually like run a little bit of a larger scale business. It's not a large scale business, but larger for us scale in comparison to what we were doing. So, which is good, I mean, in slow and steady is kind of winning the race. Like we've just kind of every year, like we've slowly improved different pieces of what we got going on. And there was just a lot of moving parts the first year, little less, but still a lot of moving parts the second year, and then a little less, but still moving parts the third year. And, now going into year four, um, time's just kind of flying, and, we don't have as many quote unquote big projects like we have in the past. We still have plenty to do, but it's just, not as many, major big ones. So yeah, it's the move's been awesome. Like I said, it's been a lot of work for all of us, and I appreciate your guys' work, but it's also just been it's been an opportunity for all of our families, and I think that we're servicing more families than we probably even imagined in the beginning of that move, because it was just not, seeing it on paper, like putting it all together, like doing all that stuff. Like we kind of had the ideas of the direction, but seeing the numbers kind of like fluctuate through the years, and then, things moving the way that they have now, it's just it's a good problem. It's a good thing. Like we have, moving parts, but it's all good stuff for all of us.
I mean, I think if you tried to quantify it when we first moved to where it's at now, it's like night and day.
Yeah.
And when we when we set out on the journey to find a facility, how many did we look at? Like 4 or 5?
Yeah, I went. There's probably, I mean, really, there was only one that was legitimately gonna work, but we looked at a couple other buildings that could possibly, just depending on how it all would shape up, but they were never really like realistic, especially just based off location. Because that's the hardest part is everybody always wants to talk about like, oh yeah, let's just get this big old thing and do it for this, because on in theory it just sounds so simple and easy, but location is a very, very important piece to that. Like having our style of businesses, which is essentially for families, you know, throwing them in an industrial area or, in a rougher part of town, and places like that, like it's just not a good fit when you're trying to, do a family ran business, but then also like supporting families that have young children, and it's just not a good fit in a lot of different types of places. So the location was a big piece of that. But then also just having the open space that we have here is very hard to find. Like, the inventory, that as far as what is available for that, like, you're finding a needle in a haystack kind of a thing.
Yeah, so let's talk about the cleanup. I mean, we're about a mile away from the old facility.
Yep.
And when we first walked in this building, I think there was what, one working toilet, two heaters that nobody knew if they worked, and concrete.
That was it. Yep.
And
Started with a pretty wide open area. I take that back. There was kind of a wall the first day that we were looking through here. There was a wall through the middle of the facility. But other than that, it was a wide open area. It was just kind of cut down the middle.
well, the people that were leasing half the space or whatnot, they definitely took down the wall, and it opened up quite a bit. But we were pretty gung ho about this place. Once we got inside, we started looking through all of it to like map it all out, and we had many nights of discussing how it would work. We're now in a 200-foot by 70-foot facility, and how can we make batting cages work? How can we, you know, make a lane for top speed work, and all of those things, and still be able to put on our classes. So that was we were still doing that at the old facility while moving, and then I think we took a little bit of a week off maybe before we opened it up here, just to make it happen.
Yeah, I think it was right about, I mean, maybe 2 weeks in total, something like that. It was a pretty short-lived little break, and it was right around Thanksgiving time because that's when we did some of the framing stuff. But yeah, that we had all the classes that were still going on at the old facility, and then obviously got that stuff moved over here over a weekend time frame, and then started kind of getting a shell set up, put together, got everything kind of laid out to where it was like in a temporary spot. That was probably the most annoying piece of moving while still trying to operate. Was like, you would set something up, we would work on certain thing, and then we'd have to move all the stuff again, and then we'd work there and then move all the stuff again and then work there. Like, that was the draining part of the initial like setup. Was just, we moved that gym equipment. I mean, moving it over here was just a pain, but then moving it here and then moving it and moving it and moving it, that was tiresome to say the least. But you didn't really have a choice. Like, you were just, you're trying to make it all operate and work at the same time, and just do what we could do to stay and keep the doors going, and or the doors open and people flowing in and out of here, kind of a thing. But yeah, that my body, I think I fully recovered from the move finally, but it took a while. Like, my shoulders were messed up there for a little bit. My knee was messed up there for a little bit. Like, it was a good year of time before I felt like I was back to 100%. That's for sure.
Oh man, I don't know if I'll ever recover. I'm just kidding. But just doing the ins and outs. You have
Well, I was gonna say, Sean, thank you for all of your help and motivation from afar.
yeah, it's moving the turf around, getting that ordered in, and then hanging some heaters because we knew we needed more
Yeah,
retro.
heaters were a little after, like, timeline. I think it was first thing we did was when we got over here, we just kind of cleaned everything, right? Like, just kind of opened everything up as best we could. And turf was like the first big thing. Like, we got stuff moved in, obviously, but the turf project was just a whole, like, that was just a whole
See the sun come up and the sun go
debacle.
down.
Yeah. A lot of hours, but then we also had we had no experience in how heavy that stuff was, and just moving it and then laying it and then trying to move it again and then trying to cut it and trying to make it all like straight. Yeah, like, and then seaming it, gluing, like, just that was a process. I understand why they don't infill it until it's after it's laid down now, for sure, because that alone just added probably a week's worth of work just because of how heavy it was. Like, it just those rolls were, I don't know, 4,500 pounds or something like that, like
Yeah.
5,000 pounds. Like, couldn't move it with 4 or 5 people. Like, you needed like a machine. So it
Even
was,
even the white turf coming over from the old facility needed a bunch of people. I mean, it was heavy too, and thankfully we had Garrett with the football team that got those guys to bring it over and got it all put together. But that was interesting in itself. I don't know how many like furniture dollies we broke, but
a lot.
But thank God they have a warranty.
A lot of wheels getting snapped.
Just crazy times in that. I think the thing I'm most thankful for is all that we've learned how to do.
Yeah.
You know, we just kind of
basically GCs of a new build project at the end of the day. Because once you did that, then we got turf finished, and then after turf was finished, then we started hanging cages. I think that was the second big project. So cage stuff started going, and then pretty sure after cages was when that was pretty close to that Thanksgiving time frame when the framework started to get done.
right.
But at that point in time in the facility, we only had 2 commercial heaters. So that
Mhm.
first entire year, like, that was pretty much
If it was 30 degrees outside, it was
just 30
30
degrees
degrees in here.
Yeah, like, it was
just
freezing.
couldn't keep up.
Yeah. So that was really cold. But, so then we got all that stuff done, got those things figured out. And then after that, the second year is when we did the heaters.
Mm-hmm.
So able to save some money.
In the fall.
Yeah, got some stuff kind of organized, and then so we were able to put in 3 more heaters, which made a huge difference. Like, you could definitely feel, the heat for short-lived bit, but then it was, okay, well, now our roof isn't insulated. And so, we're running this heat all day long just to like knock the chill off in here, which athlete-wise, they were cool with it. Like, nobody
Yeah.
cared. Like, they could feel it, and they were happy that they could feel it. But parent-wise, they were upstairs just bitching and moaning every day that how cold it was because they were just sitting there, which is understandable. But go sit in your car, you'll be okay. So
Propane heaters upstairs, propane heaters next to the squat racks.
Yeah.
I mean, we had an office that was literally tarps full of propane heaters. I mean, the blast heaters were going all the time. There were days you'd walk in and just be like, propane.
yeah, I couldn't smell it, but hopefully somebody else did if it was bad, but it was okay. So we went through that. Things were good. And then once we got all that done, then finally Sean shows up at that point in time. And then we go and we're able to do our insulation project. And the insulation project was a beast in itself. And that took us a good, I don't know, how long did that take us? 2 months ish?
Yeah, I mean, we had to plan for it because you had to take down the batting cages. You had to, really, really figure out how to get that high. I mean, we have a 20-foot scissor lift, and by all means, we were never safe on that thing. But with a boom arm and things like that, we were able to knock out the center pieces that we couldn't get on the scissor lift. So, and thankfully, most of those are staying up there.
Yeah, knock on wood.
And
as long as the building doesn't get too much wind, they stay okay.
Yeah.
But that made a huge difference. Obviously, getting the insulation up top and kind of getting that project done was. Now we're in a really good spot because we can actually keep it pretty warm.
We're frying the parents in the parent area.
Yeah, now the parents are like, "Oh, it's like a sauna up here."
Turn the fan on. It's 80 degrees up here, man. All right, sweet.
Yeah, good problem to have. So,
and then during the summers with that type of insulation, we installed like a little water mister system that I don't even think we used that much.
Redneck AC, man.
Yeah, I don't think we actually used that very much this summer.
We used it.
Man, I don't know where I was. Not here.
It got used. It's pretty good. I mean, it just.
I didn't use it for my classes.
Wasn't your thing?
No, let them sweat. I'm in sweatpants and a sweatshirt. They're gonna.
You do that quite a bit.
Yeah.
I was cutting, man.
Yeah, not my thing.
But yeah, so the facilities come together, entering year 4. I think we're in a good spot to, keep moving forward. We have a few heres and there's, but as far as big projects go inside, I don't think there's much. I mean, we just got our parking lot painted.
Yeah.
And
so don't park in the front 4 spots.
Yeah, it says reserved.
It says reserved. Stay out of them.
I have seen more people see that and turn around.
Yep.
But then, there's some who, whatever. They're
not at your own risk. That's what we need to put up on there too.
Yeah. I don't know. We've acquired a few cool things here with our adventures, a bus, a shop van. Our shop van's like a covered truck. That thing surprises me still. But I don't know. I mean, we still have some hurdles to overcome, like who knows how our electrical always works. I mean, when we came in here, the lights would just turn on. So having all of that done is interesting. Our lights still flicker every now and then, and so on and so forth. And then we have this office up here that our coaches can truly, do their job and prepare for the classes they have.
Yep. Finishing that. Learned a lot doing that as well too. Just
Texter is your friend.
Like just finishing the entirety of that, doing the floors, the walls, I never really want to paint again in my life. Me and that spray painter were.
I gave you the spray paint, the painter, because it blew up on me painting the pillars red.
Yeah. So that was, I came out of that thing looking like a 85-year-old man, just gray all over me and white. And I was just like, oh my goodness. But, got to do what you got to do. So things are good. Now we got, buildings kind of textured. We got some paint out there too. Holly painted up our walls for us, made them look pretty cool. Did some signs for us that look pretty cool. So it's come a long ways in the time frame that we've been here. So facility wise is moving and grooving. Now on the flip side of that, like we still kind of run like a little bit of a it's down and gritty in here is the way that I kind of look at it. Like it's not all shiny and fancy and like all that stuff. Like we're about the hard work, the hustle, the, get after it. And I think the facility kind of has that vibe inside of here as well too, which is what we kind of go for. So, we're not your, YMCA, whatever, like come feel good type thing. Like we're, we want to get to work, we want to get after it. And, the facility kind of shows that off a little bit.
Shots at the YMCA.
Well, I just, whatever, the fancy dancy, Planet Fitness, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
We can take shots at Planet Fitness.
Okay, we'll take that. Sorry, YMCA. I didn't mean that way.
Just no reason.
No reason. You know how it is. But
a lot of kids ask about the bus. What we use it for.
Yeah. We really don't. The bus was actually a purchase because we have unrealistic baseball coaches that coach in this league, and basically they claim they want to do certain things, and as most people, everybody wants to do cool things until they understand that it costs money to do them, and then they just think that I, for some reason, have a bunch of money and I can just afford to do these things. And I said, no, we can't take all these road trips that you are trying to plan. But here's what we can do is I can find us a way of transportation that's affordable. Oh, yeah, let's do that. So then we figured out a way to get this school bus, and then nobody wants to take a road trip anymore. So it's actually a deterrent. That's what that was purchased for, was to deter them from thinking that they are some hotshot team that needs to be traveling in 5-star luxury and going around the country to play all these meaningless games that don't mean anything and spend a bunch of money that isn't their money. And yeah, that's where that school bus came from.
That's not as fun as the story I tell.
Oh, what do you tell them?
Anytime a kid asks about the school bus, I just tell them that's how we get kids in the building. So we pose as school bus drivers.
Come on to the speed school.
We pull. No, I just, they get on the bus because they just see a school bus and they think it's their school bus. They get on the school bus. We bring them here. We charge them ransom.
Oh my goodness.
That's how we get kids in Parisi.
Man. That is not how we get kids at Parisi, but it's a
Well,
funny story.
That is not
That's what all
we
the
do.
kids think now.
Yeah.
they
Let me ride on the bus.
they're like, is
man.
that one of the kidnapped kids over there? I'm like, yep,
Yes.
yep, yes, sir.
But yeah, that's where the school bus came from. So,
Yep. For kidnapping purposes only.
and there's times where it's been used. It's not that we haven't used the school bus. It's just, when you start looking at dollars and cents and how it's just gonna magically show up out of nowhere. It's like, oh no, right here. I got a bus for you right down here that you can use.
1996.
Well, we really wanted to rent a sleeper bus that costs $8,000. No, you can ride in this bus. That's no problem.
You can sleep in that bus.
Yeah, you
too.
can sleep
could,
just fine.
yeah.
Unrealistic people.
Yeah.
Room in there.
So moving on to the facility and Sean joining us, we've been able to increase like the capacity of families and things like that. But one of the things we've been able to do as well is we have enough space for top speed. And that is something that I don't feel like our old facility was able to do very, I don't know, easily per se. And so Sean kind of talked to us about what the facility offers now. I know you weren't at the old one, but like as a program director, what it offers now since we have this space.
Yeah, so like what you guys would tell parents who'd come in and maybe they ask about the old facility or whatever, you say the white turf we have over there on the side is what you guys had in the old facility, correct?
Yes, just turn sideways.
But it was fit into what? You had 25 feet over there to basically sprint.
It was like a 4,500 square foot space.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we got essentially 50-ish yards, maybe some more, but for deceleration purposes, about 45, 50 yards of room over to the right of the batting cages even. So like even when we have the cages full of baseball or softball down there, for class, we can still move over, do 2 kids, 3 kids if they're small at a time and do pretty much full length sprints for 40 to 45 yards for like top speed days. And then in the summer when, most of the mornings and most of the days we don't have teams down there unless it's during night or a rain out or something. We can pull back those batting cages, and then you have the full turf to work with for class, whether you are doing an acceleration or we have multiple teams in here or like we split it up. We've done spring break camps where we have a bunch of people down there, combines, whatever. We have a ton of room to do stuff now, and it's really good for top speed too because we don't have one of those fancy treadmills that a lot of training places have. What are they called? Woodways, yeah, where you can work on those top speed mechanics so it's really nice to have that space so you can obviously sprint that distance, but also have them work on that transition from acceleration to top speed without running into a wall.
I just don't like the Woodways for me. I just can't. I mean, one, they're expensive, but that's not why I don't like them. The reason I don't like them is because, I don't think that I can run, full speed on a machine.
There's always a little
bit of trust.
Probably a little fear on there.
You know what I mean? It's just a little bit of a hesitation where it's just I know this isn't the ground.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's never felt organic and natural to me, personally. It's just always, because I've been on a bunch of them.
Probably, I mean, I bet if you practice a few times.
I guess you just get more used to it.
So let's buy one.
Yeah, no.
You have unlimited money, right?
No, exactly. I'll find you a school bus version of that Woodway. Don't you worry.
I don't want to fix it.
It'll be an off-road capable Woodway. Yeah.
But yeah, that space on the side, is good, especially in the winter too. Just like I said, so we can still do top speed classes and work on those mechanics as well. And then just the space in general. We're gonna have a lot of team trainings in here in the winter, so we'll have our regular classes going on, and then we can use the weight room for some team trainings and vice versa. We can switch out for the hour of class and still got a lot done, even though we might have 2 or 3 teams in here and a class going on. Probably won't be that much, but whilst there's still hitting going on, we can still be doing white turf, green turf, weight room. We can still make stuff happen. So that's really cool. And to be able to do that, where I don't think there's really any other place around town that's able to do that kind of capacity and still be productive.
Yeah, I don't to my knowledge anyway, there's bigger facilities that are around town that obviously just have wide open space, so I'm sure you can
Strikers.
yeah, you can do
That place is massive.
some relative, things, but as far as like what we
Yeah.
do and from a performance training aspect, like I don't know of any facilities that are around here that are our style of businesses and have the accessibility that this facility actually allows for. And I mean, to me, that's a huge selling point for us. I think when families come in and actually see the facility in action and see all of the different pieces that are happening, they're like, "Oh wow, like this is cooking." And,
Yeah.
and we have really good flow amongst all of the different things that we have going on and, just it's kind of a quote unquote, open floor plan if you will. But then we have everything like separated accordingly and there's just a lot of work that's getting done, in those prime times because that's
Mhm.
the challenge for any of the businesses that are in our field is everybody wants to work out at the same times, all the practices, all the
Yeah.
teams want to do the stuff at the same times. Like it's just everybody wants the same stuff and so you just run out of space at the end of the day. But I also, most of the indoor facilities that are around us that are more baseball or practice specific, like that type of style thing, they don't heat them.
Yeah.
Like they don't actually, pump any heat into them. So in the winter times, like it's stupid cold and, so then you miss out on practice times and things like that. And if they do heat them, it's very minimally. Whereas here, we're trying to keep it, warm and keep it to where it's favorable and people are actually enjoying the time in here. And, that's us trying to make the experience good for our customer base and trying to do what we can do to give it back because it ain't cheap, I'll tell you that. Like,
Well, the
it's
only
the gas
drawback
is
though
crazy.
is, when the weather gets cold and you're going from hot and then out to cold
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because we
to
all the
your car.
knuckleheads that take their shirts off in here and then go walk outside in sub-zero temperatures.
And,
Because
it's just not good on the body.
well,
Hot
no.
to It's
No.
just better if we keep it cold in here and
Yeah.
they're cold, then in the car.
Stay cold.
They're still gonna sweat when they work.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, like at one time in here, and this is kind of a fun part of the year. It's busy and it's hectic in here, but it's at one time we can have our regular classes going. We have a couple select athletes, kind of moving and grooving around the place. And then we got a team training going on, and then there's people hitting down in the cages. And then there's a lesson going on in the cages too. Like it's cool. And then there could even be somebody on the golf sim. Probably not at those times, but
Yeah.
like there can always be so much stuff going on um at once and everybody still being productive all in the same time. I think
Right.
that's the biggest thing because some places will try to do stuff like that, but it's not productive because it's too tight and there's not enough room and people are waiting and people are, you know, there's just you don't want to run into somebody else, but we have the luxury of being able to do stuff like that. So
Yeah, we're super busy, but we're not cramped. Like, we're
yeah.
not we're
Yeah,
not
you make it
anywhere
work.
near that.
We can make it work. Yeah.
So, that side's been that's been a fun piece to watch it kinda unfold too, just with the you know, because we kinda laid it all out in the beginning and hoped that that made sense and that it would work, and then it's kind of fallen into place for the most part. We haven't really had to make any, like, major, structural changes or anything like that, which has been good. I mean, we're always looking to add more space and find different ways to make creative spaces in the facility, but past that, it's been pretty solid.
I mean, the only way we can add more space is by going up at this point,
Yeah.
which would
You can go
be
out.
different. I mean, going out is a different animal for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we still argue with who has to mow the corner.
Yeah.
Like, so going out is just a different topic. So, but anyways, so lots of opportunities, have opened up over the course of the 3 years. I know we do a lot of partnerships and things like that. When we talk about, the flow and how it's just given us more access to be better members of the community and the athletes that we serve. It's been really cool to watch all the things come together and make that more of a dream come true, or just the vision that we had come true. Tell me about the partnerships we have with different teams and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I know we kind of got together at one point to try and discuss some sort of club partnership we can do. There's just so many club teams around town because that's the beast of youth sports these days. Is um, it's not so much okay. I'm going to go play on the Y team. I'm going to go play on my school team. Like elementary schools, middle schools don't really have teams for stuff, so it's okay. There's these massive soccer clubs or football clubs or whatever. So we were just thinking of a way, Sheldon was at, you know, like a Eisenhower football game last year and looking around and seeing that all these kids in these Goddard football jerseys. And he's like, how many kids are in this club? So he started reaching out to some people he knew through like some soccer clubs around town with United and then
Atletico.
we had some athletes who were in Atletico. Did we do any other one for soccer? Were those the two? Those were the two for soccer, and then we reached out to a volleyball club called Rise. We did one.
Fall.
Yeah.
That's what it should be called.
Yeah, if we didn't hear much from them. I mean, we got a few people to sign up, which was cool, but and then but just a affordable way where like because when they're in the club thing, they're only thinking about sports, right? And the problem with that is you're so caught up in okay, what is my club team doing, and what am I have to do for this sport? But guess what? That's what everyone's doing. So we're thinking of a way to get more athletes in here, but since they're already paying club fees, give them a discounted price here because they're with that club, and we can get them in our regular program classes, and they can, even though they're doing this and spending their time on this, they can come here and justify. Maybe they can only make it, even in season a couple times a month, maybe once a month, but on this off months where they don't have their season going on, they can come and abuse that and really get, a really good deal per month. I mean, even if they come 2 or 3 times a month, it's still a really good deal.
Yeah.
But it's a discounted price for people involved in those clubs to come in and get some training in and work on their athletic performance, because the club scene, the club culture drives that, okay, to get better at this sport, you must play this sport year round. You must only be doing this sport. So it was our way of kind of hopefully reaching out to those athletes, and hopefully that continues to grow. But, talk about, United Atletico. We've started to reach out to some of the football clubs. Mulvane, we have a couple kids from their football club in now.
Talking with Goddard, talking with Mays.
Talking with those groups for do we tried talking to Derby maybe I don't know, but
I don't think so.
I haven't heard. Maybe I did. I don't know, but I haven't heard much back from them. But there's just so many of these little club teams, and then the rugby club, the Barbarians.
Yeah, they just got going recently.
Dave kind of got into there and started reaching out to them, and
it kind of looks like a rugby player.
They saw Dave and they're like, he's one of us.
We need him on this
yeah,
team.
like former longs. Yeah, definitely.
We need you to snap.
I could
Are
throw
you
the
are you
ball
gonna
backwards.
are you gonna be join their adult?
No.
You
Okay.
should.
You should.
And why not? Get out there and
but,
snap that thing.
But yeah, so that's one of our newer ones, the Barbarians. So we had a couple of them sign up, which was cool. So we've had them coming in, and you can tell the kids who take advantage of that are getting a steal first of all, price wise, and they're improving a ton. And their parents love it. I mean, I think like Madison Haney, she came in on the Rise volleyball.
She's our lone.
Yeah, we had a couple other ones, but the other ones kind of canceled early on. So, and she's stuck with it. And I mean, she's been around for a year now, and
Yeah.
it's been cool to kind of, because she's taken advantage of it.
Yeah.
People, who see that and they're like, okay, so I can still do all my sports and still get in here once a week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, and really improve as an athlete and really take off because I am putting in the time on the court or the field in my club sport, but then I'm also spending time to work on my athleticism, work on my body, work on my overall athletic health. So, yeah, those partnerships have been cool. It's a way for us to get our name out there a little bit more. And yeah,
Well, I think
there's some legwork that doesn't necessarily get done on
yeah,
their side a little bit, but it's
the partnerships are cool. On the topic of the facility, right? Like the facility allows us the opportunity to do these style of initiatives with bigger clubs because we aren't afraid of volume like we once not to say that we were afraid of it, it was just we knew that the capacity was much smaller in a smaller facility, right? So you balance this, teeter-totter of a balance of like, okay, we want to be able to have this influx of people, but then you also, if you influx the people, then you're going to run out of time and space, and then you can't actually operate and be able to do different things that you want to do. So there's this big balancing act that happens there. Um, but on the topic of the facility, it definitely we're allowed the opportunity to be able to do a lot more there, which we could get into probably a whole thing of the psychology of these clubs and how they operate and how big they are, but yet how their communications are not good and like that's
well,
just
I
a
also
whole
think
mix
I
of
think
things.
people use to their credit, I think people use email a lot
Hmm.
as their especially in those kind of things, they use email for the
Bulk
communication.
emails.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if once people read the subject line, they don't read the rest of the email.
Yeah.
So if our deal is at the bottom of the email or in the
True.
middle of the email, they're not
Yeah.
going to get that far. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that from just my own communications myself. It's just like if people once people read the subject line, they'll kind of maybe get the gist of it and move on because that's just how we are. But yeah, I mean that's been a cool venture and hopefully it'll continue to grow. I know like when Atletico first started last year with us, it was popping in here. I mean, you
Yeah.
had a ton of kids in.
Ton of kids getting like way better
Oh
too.
yeah. I mean, you had so many
Yeah.
I mean, they're soccer players, but they're super awkward athletes.
Yep.
Like we were
Yep.
talking about this the other day. Their
Hmm.
foot skills might be really good soccer, but
Yep.
I mean, gosh, you had so many kids get in here, have 100+ point jumps in the couple months they were in on their test scores, and just look. I mean, it's what's cool is we do that baseline testing, so you have tangible evidence for, um,
Improvement.
for improvement that parents can look at and be like, okay, yeah, he's getting faster, he's getting stronger, and then this month, okay, he didn't, he kind of maintained his speed numbers, but he really improved his power numbers, or vice versa,
He
right?
got a chin up.
He got a chin up, man.
Oh
That's always
man.
fun. Yeah, that's always fun. Or he beats his 10 because Dave's chasing him. We talked about that last time. And then and then we just had but the eye test, you just see some of these athletes just starting to figure it out. And, obviously that's one of the cool parts about this job is just seeing a kid grow more confident in their movement, more confident in their body and being able to control it a lot more. Because that, the central nervous system starts to fire a little bit more and then the brain starts to work a little bit more with the muscles and then you talk about the mind muscle connection, everybody's always heard that, but when you actually kind of see it get put into action, it's pretty cool. So but yeah, I mean we have some rules with that exclusive club pricing too that hopefully people kind of latch onto a little bit more as it moves forward because our whole goal with that isn't a short-term thing, it's a long-term deal. We want to see like these kids all the way through high school and try to get them where they want to go,
Yeah.
but I mean parents a lot of times see it short term kind of thing. They see the improvement and they're like, all right, cool, and then they're
Oh,
like, just
we're in
we're too
season.
busy.
We're in season. We're
Just
gonna
rolls
cancel
back
now.
into
Yeah.
the club.
Yeah, and then it's
the
just
issues
like
with the clubs.
the eyes were there like,
constant.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And then they're just like, all
All
right,
right, now we're doing this, and now
Yeah,
we're
we can't-
practicing again.
We
and
got better
practicing
enough.
again, and
Yeah.
doing
I
it
know, and,
again,
and that's the two. But you see the kids who stick it out, man. It pays dividends, and that's the whole goal of this whole thing. It's not to just short term boost your kid,
I mean, it's helpful that works,
right?
but it's also, and granted, like per perspective here, we're talking about kids that are, young kids that are their bodies are going to change, all of their abilities and what they do are going to change. And, it's just, I can tell you over 10 plus years of doing this, we've had more people come back to us and go, yeah, we should have just never stopped. And we're like, yeah, we told you
That's the
that.
point.
Like,
That's the point.
like, and people just, it is what it is. Like, I've learned in the beginning, like long ago, like that would not upset me, but it would just be like, I'm trying to tell you guys exactly, but you're not going to make those decisions for people, and, worrying about it or letting it bother you isn't going to fix anything either. Like, you could tell them till you're blue in the face, and it just doesn't make a difference when they're on these club teams. And I don't blame them from a financial standpoint, because they're expensive, like,
Yeah,
and they
and it's
spend more
busy.
money
Yeah.
there. So the reality of it is they think that because that's where the money's being spent, that's where they need to put the time and attention. And they're not wrong in that statement, but it just boils back to what is going to be most beneficial for your overall development. And, you know, that is clear as day. Like, it is not even close to what is going to help these athletes develop more. Our programming is something that is tried and true, tested by science, backed by science. If you're just semi consistent with it, it will pay dividends down the road. And, the athletes that are with us that, stay with us for year after year after year, there's no secret why those kids are the fastest kids in the state. They're the best at their positions. They're winning player of the year. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, all of that stuff that we talk about with these athletes, and then you go back and look at their track record, they weren't the ones that were going, oh, yeah, no, like, we're a little too busy right now. Like, no, they still just came once a week. Like, they still just stayed consistent. Like, they stayed the course. And then all of a sudden, everybody else is going, well, why is this happening for her? Or why is this happening for him? It's like, well, they stayed consistent. Like, and it's simple stuff. It's not crazy. And that's not the only reason why either. Like, there's other things, but it's just, those partnerships are great, especially in theory. Like, the idea behind them. And again, on the topic of the facility, it allows us to open up more things and do more services. It's just, you know, there's a lot of, there's got to be buy-in on that side of it for things like that to really kind of stay moving the same direction.
Yeah. Sometimes, you want to believe that you get the results that you think they're looking for, but
I don't know. I don't know.
sometimes it's like even when the results are there right in front and they're like, "Oh yeah, we see the improvement on the field."
It's
And
good enough.
yeah, and it's like, "Well, okay. Let us know when he hits a growth spurt or she hits a growth spurt and or starts, going through some, come then they get injured, and you got, God forbid, like you don't want that to happen, obviously. But the best defense against those kind of things is to stay consistent, right? Fascia training, stay consistent in your movement work, your athletic performance work, and because I mean, a lot of what we do helps your knee, your ankles, your joints stay ready for
Hmm.
impact, stay ready for cutting, stay ready for absorbing force. And when you're always practicing that, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Like there's no random butt kicks, high knee warm up that's going to get you ready for that force absorption
Yeah.
out there on the
Yeah,
competition.
and with the facility, you're not just going straight to a concrete floor or to a basketball gym. You're legitimately on field turf that
Yeah.
came from a football field. I mean, it's almost like you're actively doing the things that you would be doing on and off the field per se. But yeah, so the facility offers a lot more opportunities for all of us in the community we serve. So, but outside of that, is there anything else you guys want to add about the new facility?
Well, I mean, I just other than that, it's when you're talking about the facility in terms of Parisi and then in terms of the KCLB and the SBS, I mean, it's just a chance. Being in a space like this is a chance to put more eyes on that side of things. How many different teams will come in here because of a rain out or something and rent a couple cages for the night and just see what we have? How many, you know, whether it's softball or baseball teams, and then the questions start asking, and then, like, Tommy, he has lessons in here that come in, I have lessons that come in, and they see the place and like, "Oh, man, yeah, this is a pretty cool place, and you guys seem to have a lot going on in here." Then you have all these, curve kids coming through here, and, some other baseball teams, and as they get closer to that senior year of high school going into college, and they see the KCLB working, and then they might be coming in here in the summer or something, and they'll see the KCLB teams come in and working here, so I think it's overall an opportunity to get more eyes on what we're trying to do
Yeah.
between our couple organizations as well, being in a facility like this as opposed to like at the old facility where it was the Parisi Speed School still, but how were you able to showcase
Yeah, it
that?
was a little more one-dimensional
Right.
over there because we didn't have the space, and that obviously was we didn't need all of this stuff, quote unquote, to run the baseball side of things, but it definitely is
Yeah.
helpful.
And we've had the spring break camps and
Mhm.
everything where more soccer players get in here, and it's a place for them to
Yep.
do something over a break or something, and that's just, and it may maybe some of them are interested down the road, maybe some of them aren't, but they know where we're at. They know
Right.
what we do. So,
Well, you get that, and that's kind of where Kansas Sports HQ comes from. Is this is the
Hub.
the hub, the headquarters, right? Like this
The
is where
hub. The hub.
this is
great
where
word.
everything kind of cultivates for all of our different avenues, right? Of businesses that operate under this umbrella, but they all coincide together because they are all very similar in functions, and there's differences, but it's just it's a spot where those things can cohabitate, I guess. And they work really well together. The families all mesh really well together because they're all somewhat in that same realm of at least sports as a big umbrella, or baseball or youth sports or whatever. So that side of it's kind of fun to watch, and that's definitely a piece of the new facility that I don't think really ever crossed my mind. Like, it to me, Parisi was always the main thing, and it's always going to be the main thing, um, because it's just always been that way for me. But seeing how the space unfolded to be able to utilize it for all of these different teams and all of the different baseball related things, and then that expanded into softball teams, and then to soccer teams, and then to football teams, and I mean literally now rugby teams, and just everything that's we have the space to be able to help service and help people. I think that is really the cool part of what we've been able to, work so hard for, but then also find ways to make it flow together and work well, and put all of the different pieces in place for, because there's more people in here than I ever expected. I will say that. Like, there's been more of that team side of it than that I ever even was thinking about. Like, it just wasn't in my, like, vision, I guess, of why we need more space to do more things. Like, top speed was more of a priority for me because I wanted to offer a full range of Parisi programming, which I just felt we were handicapped at the old facility and not really being able to do. I mean, don't get me wrong, people got up to top speed over there. It was just a little sketchy, slowing down,
Couple of
and
knees through the wall.
yeah, been running straight into a chain link fence basically with some pads. Like, it wasn't the safest thing, but we made it work because that's what we had to work with, and we just found ways to do that. But having what we have over here, and just the fluidity for us as well too, as we all know, like, I mean, we dang near live here. So, we're here all the time, but we've made this a space where, like, we enjoy being here. So, like, the families enjoy it as well, like our kids enjoy it as well. I think that to me is kind of the pride piece where it's like, I like the fact that our athletes like to be here. Like, to me, I take a lot of pride in that. Like, I like the fact that the select athletes that I work with, they enjoy the space, and I have athletes that, like, a guy texted me 2 days ago that hasn't trained with me in forever, and he's old now, doesn't play anymore. And he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna get a workout in. You care if I go to Parisi?" I'm like, "No, dude. Like, it's just family. Like, it's just like this space is built for you. You've been a part of this program. Like, you're going to get access to this space for forever, and that's the bigger picture stuff is, building something that can last a long, long time. And so that way people always feel welcome here. They feel like they're a part of the stuff that we're growing and building. And, they want to come back. Like they want to come check in and see how it's going and see what's up and see what it's about. And, so that's kind of the bigger picture on the move and why the facility has been an important piece over the last few years. And you never know, there might be some expanding in the future. Who knows?
Never know. Well,
So-
Sean, why don't you lead us in prayer as we close out today's episode?
15 minutes already. We can roll, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Oh Lord, thank you for just another day. As always, just always a gift to wake up and breathe the air you bless us with, Lord, and just get to hang out and talk a little bit about past experiences, future efforts. But it's all because you've blessed us with this, with first of all a mission and a drive to serve people, but also doing something we're passionate about. Not a lot of people get to do that, and then in a space like this is very special. So thank you for that, Lord. And as we continue to use it, I pray that we honor and glorify you, and we work for you, Lord, and not for ourselves. In your name, we pray, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well, thanks for joining us today on Kansas Sports HQ, episode 22, Wichita Parisi, the new facility, but not so new, entering year 4, all the things coming together and doing great things. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.